Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording Sunday, February 23rd, but Sam is not here, so I have to change the background on YouTube once again. There we go, top one. Hello, Cam. How are you?
I'm good. I'm honored to stand in for Sam once again. Where is Sam?
Sam's in LA on a work trip,
He's still
so
in LA.
he's
Cool.
away. Yes, sir. But we have a very fun Celtics game to discuss. The Celtics, third game against the Knicks this season, third beatdown of the Knicks this season. Knicks made their own run in the third quarter. They made things a little interesting, but Celtics still walk out with a 118-105 win. 13-point victory, was 24 at one point. Then all the way down to 4 when the Knicks made the run, and then the Celtics, led by Jaylen Brown, ballooned it back up to 13 to get the win. I have a lot of thoughts about this Knicks team, but I'll summarize it so you can talk. These two teams are not on equal footing. They're in different stratospheres.
Offensively, maybe they're in the same league, but defensively, absolutely not. And that's not a surprise. That's exactly what we said all summer and like through the season. Jalen Brunson is a defensive liability. Karl-Anthony Towns is a defensive liability, and now they have two of them. And Mikal Bridges one time was on an all defensive team. That's not going to be good enough. So I don't know. Maybe Mitchell Robinson comes back and he changes things for how they defend a little bit, but until further notice, even when healthy, I think the Celtics team, just through the way they're dramatically better on defense, makes a big difference. I'm going to look at you talk. I'm going to look up some data to back this up.
Yeah, listen, I made a video about this based on an Evan Mobley comment a few days ago. Evan Mobley was like asked by DJ Siddiqui of Basketball Insiders. He goes, "What's the key to beating the Celtics?" Evan Mobley goes, "Defense." And at first I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And then I thought about it. I'm like, well, kind of. If you have the right personnel, it can be defense. But the Cavs and the Knicks don't have the right personnel for that, because if you can't play defense or you can't hit threes, you will not beat the Celtics. If you have a player on your court that can't do one of those things, you're not going to beat the Celtics unless that one person who can't do one of those things is a big man who's really good at other stuff. That's like the one maybe exception, and even that's a stretch. Like, if you have guys that need to be in your closing lineup that can't play defense, you're not going to beat the Celtics. You just will not, because they will target that player. It will be the seal to their killer whale offense, and you just lose. And that's what happened in this game. Karl-Anthony Towns couldn't defend the Celtics. They, refused to take him out of drop defense for 2.5 quarters, and Porzingis just rained threes on their head. Then when they finally did, that's when they made the run. But then the Celtics adjusted and they got around it, and they used their physicality. And Tibbs took Jalen Brunson off the floor, and they crumbled because you can't do it. And then Jalen Brunson can't keep up with them unless he's flopping around like a fish trying to draw fouls. Like, Josh Hart can't shoot threes, so that's another guy. Not only do they have two guys who can't play defense, they have one guy who's not a shooter. And when you have that on the team, that opens up the Celtics to be able to guard him with Kristaps or Luke Cornett, so they can play help defense and cut off all your driving lanes. Like, this Celtics team is just too talented and too well-rounded to have anybody who can't play defense or can't shoot. And that's why the Thunder played them so well that one time, because they have 5 guys who play defense and can't shoot the ball, or i.e. Isaiah Hartenstein, which is why the Knicks played them well last year, can do other stuff that makes them a very talented player and is at least passable as a perimeter defender to keep up with the guys. Karl-Anthony Towns not that. Josh Hart can't shoot threes, and if you look at the Cavs, Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell aren't great defenders either. Celtics will pick on them. It's just gonna be how it is, and that's what you saw against the Knicks on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, the Celtics and the Knicks have an identical offensive rating. They're third and fourth collectively in the league. But Boston has the 5th best defensive rating and just like a percentage point really behind the Rockets. So top 4, top 5. But the Knicks are 20th in defense and in the same neighborhood as the Nets, the Kings, and the Blazers. If the playoffs started today, the Knicks would by far have the worst defensive rating of any playoffs team. So the Cavs actually, just because you brought it up, are 8th on defense, which is a lot better than I would have expected. But I don't know how sustainable that is. That's because they don't play the Celtics every night.
Exactly. The Celtics team is just very uniquely built to pick on mismatches. And if your team has a mismatch, you lose. Like, that's just kind of how it is. Like, especially when you stretch that out over the course of a 7-game series. This Knicks team just couldn't keep up. Like, every single time the Celtics did anything to pick on one of their weak points, they crumbled. Their transition defense was terrible. The Celtics ran on them. They did a pretty good job, like, stunting and recovering and helping and making stuff a little tricky in that third quarter when they made that run on defense. But then once the Celtics got a little bit fast paced and Derrick White made a couple threes, they just crumbled all over again.
But
And it was all over.
isn't that the point, that it's not for lack of trying or for lack of scheming?
Yeah,
Like they're well coached, they're disciplined on defense, they just don't have the
sure.
personnel.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. Like, this Celtics team is so perfectly built for this modern style of basketball that if you don't have the right personnel, you cannot win. And there is not a team in the Eastern Conference who has the personnel to beat the Celtics in a 7-game series. And maybe we'll be, listen, like there's always exceptions to this rule. Like the exception being the 2023 Eastern Conference Finals. That Heat team didn't really have the personnel. If you look at the numbers and you look at everything they do to beat the Celtics, they just had an ungodly shooting series, and that was enough to be the difference. And that's not to discredit the Heat. They did it. Like, that's all the credit they need. They did it. They performed, and that is a testament to how much those guys stepped up. So they deserve all that credit. But if you look at the paper and you look at the math and you look at everything that Joe Mazzulla definitely accounts for in his head, there's nobody in the Eastern Conference who should be able to beat the Celtics team in a 7-game series. You saw that against the Knicks in this one. You've seen it against the Cavs at multiple points this season. The Cavs won a game, but again, it's not about winning one. It's about winning 4 of 7. And I said in my video that I made, I think the Pacers legitimately might be the toughest matchup for the Celtics, because in this killer whale offense that the Celtics run, it is, you hunt the seal, you find the seal. And as I jokingly said in my video, the Pacers are SEAL Team 6, right? They have SEAL Team 5, as Sam said. They've got SEALs. They can't defend. They cannot play defense, but they understand that. And so they transfer all their energy into just playing quick. And you look at all these Pacers Celtics games, and it's like 130 to 135, 124 to 140. Like, they're all high scoring because the Pacers know what their strong points are and what they can do, and they focus on that. So this Knicks team is not in the same planet as the Celtics. They can't compete with them. They will not beat them in a 7-game series. They are nowhere close to the same team because they can't play defense, like you said. And for the 3rd straight time this season, you saw it. They just cannot compete.
Yeah, I mean, the week going into the All-Star break, the Celtics beat the pants off the Knicks and pants off the Cavs. And now with the Cavs coming to Boston on Friday, the Celtics have a chance to do it again. I suspect the Cavs, to your point, are fast enough to do what you're identifying. So, like, if the Celtics don't win on Friday, I don't think it changes really the calculus here. But it does feel like we should book plane tickets to Oklahoma City for June.
I agree. The one team I'm looking at, there are 2 teams, Denver and Memphis, are like, they give me a little side eye. I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. This is pretty good teams right there. Maybe they can make something happen. Yeah, OKC is far and away the favorite in my opinion. Looking at some individual performances in this game. Actually, before that, I'll start with Jrue Holiday. He had a good individual performance, so it makes sense. He had 14, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, a block, 6 and 9 to a 4. I asked Joe Mazzulla about it after the game. They did it last year. They're doing it more this year. They did it against Joel Embiid. Jrue Holiday guarding 5s opens up so much for this Celtics team. It is, and Jayson Tatum guarded Cat tonight a lot too, and Jaylen Brown guarded Embiid a lot the other night. So it's not just Jrue, but it's mainly Jrue. He's like the starting point. Him guarding 5s allows Porzingis or Luke Cornett to play off the ball and help over on defense, which completely takes out driving lanes. It allows you to double team and force Cat and Joel Embiid and guys like that to make mistakes, turn them into playmakers, which is why it doesn't work as well with Jokic, because he's the best playmaker on the planet. But guarding bigs with Jrue and having that is why Jrue still has so much infinite value to this team. Keeping that defense this versatile. Like, everyone's talking about, like, oh my God, Drew's declining. Like, he's not shooting as well. That's not where exactly. And that's not where the Jrue impact lies. Like, yes, it's great that, and yes, he needs to be able to make threes. Yes, he needs to be able to be at least a legitimate threat so teams can't leave him like the Grizzlies did earlier this season. And I think that's more of a one-off than something that teams will consistently employ, and something that I don't think that will consistently work. But the real value of Jrue Holiday is when he can guard karl-Anthony Towns, when he can guard Joel Embiid, when he can guard Julius Randle, when he can guard these guys who are a foot taller than him, or 8 inches, whatever you want to say, taller than him, because it opens up hell for the Celtics on defense. Like, they can do whatever they want if that matchup works, and it worked against the Knicks in this one.
Yeah, especially, I mean, the thing that gives me greatest pause about Luke Cornett is he's not a great defender in open space, but if he is already not, if he's not guarding the big to begin with, like, if you can't really put him in a pick and roll to try to create a mismatch, because then the Celtics just switch it and then Drew's on the ball handler. So it also protects against one of Luke Cornett's biggest vulnerabilities. But also, let's give Lucas flowers. I mean, another just game where
so good.
You came on Celtics Lab and talked about this earlier in the season, that Luke the reason he's not shooting threes is because he's focusing on doing the things he does well, really damn well. And not only is he, perfected that craft or nearly perfected that craft, just night in, night out, you need crazy hustle guys. You need guys to give you Tommy points. The stars aren't always going to be like diving on the floor in the middle of the game. And now it's Luke Cornett who's doing that, which is consistent with everything we've talked about before. Luke Cornett is 26 or 27. He should be better than he was a few seasons ago. Like, NBA players are not finished products when they're young guys, and
It's 29.
Luke's 29.
29.
Okay, he's a late bloomer, we'll say.
Definitely
regardless, I mean, it was a 3-point shooting and the Knicks' bad defense that was the headline here, but I think Luke was a big part of why they won this game because, you can build a big lead with 3-point shooting, but it does take a bit of focus, grit, and determination to keep that lead, which they almost choked like dogs. I mean, they were up 27 and it got down to 4 for a second. But still, Luke, phenomenal Luke game.
Luke's been such a joy to watch this season. Like, he genuinely might be my favorite player to watch this season on this team.
Yeah.
Like, just the way he fills gaps, the way he battles. Luke Cornett is one of the best offensive rebounders in the league, like statistically. He's also one of the best. I did a video on Luke Cornett, so I just have these stats offhand. He's also one of the best rim protectors in the league. Like, I think of all, it's something like of all post players all players who have defended at least 100 shots within 6 feet of the rim, he's like top 10 or top 5 in field goal percentage allowed. Like, guys will shoot 55% on Luke Cornett within 6 feet of the basket. Like, that's an absurd statistic. Like it's extremely impressive what the Celtics have been able to do with Luke, especially in some of these double big lineups that they run a lot, because that have been really good. And again, I did a video on that too. I'm just plugging the videos I made. But circling back to this game, Jayson Tatum only 8 of 23, 10, not super efficient, but once again, sort of like the Philly game, almost a triple double, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. It really feels like teams are starting to try to take away his scoring more, but again, I'm just talking about points I made videos on, but I guess that's the whole point, is because it's topical and I cover the Celtics. You double team Jayson Tatum, you lose. That is what it has turned into. He is now in the realm of good enough passer, great enough passer, good enough at making reads too. If you double him, he's just going to find the open man. Again, 9 assists tonight, did a phenomenal job there. He's never going to have the stats because of the team the Celtics have built to win MVP, but Tatum for the past, month or so has been playing like the best player in the world.
Luke Cornett is listed as the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, tied for 11th. I mean, he's the 11th tallest listed player, but there's a bunch of guys who are 7'1".
Sure, yeah.
Can you guess the players taller than him in the NBA? I'll give you Rudy Gobert. So you're guessing about 10.
Victor Wembanyama's taller.
7'3".
KP's taller.
KP's this is according to the NBA, 7'2".
Yeah. Is Bol technically taller? Is he 7'1" as well?
A pop-up ad just popped up. He's 7'3". Ball's taller.
Bol's 7'3". That's a lie. Embiid's a lie.
You're 3 for 3 on guys who are listed as taller. There's a few guys listed at the same height.
So this is 7'2" or taller.
I'll give you the 7'1" guy to help you out. Gobert's listed as 7'1". Cornett, Jay Huff, Derek Lively, Chet, and Brook Lopez all listed at 7'1". So
there are 10 guys 7'2" or taller in the NBA.
I guess so. And then so there's 6 guys who are there's 6 guys who are 7'2" and taller. There's 11 guys who are 7'1".
Oh, and I have 3 so far. I have Bol, Wemby, and KP.
One has a Celtics tie, but you probably won't get it. One has a New England guy, a tie, but I don't know if you'll get it.
What? Can you give me the teams? I need the teams. I'm like blanking.
Well, one's obvious, and I can't believe you haven't gotten it.
Really?
Yeah, he's the tallest guy. He's the tallest guy in the league.
What? Wemby's not the tallest guy in the league? Am I foolish?
Yes, he's a rookie.
He's a rookie. Oh no, I feel so silly.
He went to Purdue.
What team is he on?
He's on the.
Grizzlies. Zach Edey. Zach Edey. Yeah, Zach Edey. How tall is Zach Edey listed at 7'4"?
7'4".
Wow.
7'4", 305. So it's Edey, Ball, Wemby.
Oh, Klingon.
Nice job. Porzingis and Moses
Rookies.
Brown.
Oh, I forgot Moses Brown. He just got a 10-day. I'm gonna give myself a break on that one. I forgot he's still in the league. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, Porzingis. I mean, he has the physical gifts to be one of the top defenders in the league. But like, if you look at the guys he's up against, it's clear that it's more than just height. Like there are some of these tall guys we don't think of as premier defenders.
For sure, definitely. And Porzingis was really good tonight. It's just like, listen, man, Kristaps Porzingis, when he's playing a big who's playing in drop coverage, cheat code. Like you like,
Yeah.
and the Knicks refused to fix it. Porzingis completely just shredded the Knicks for the first half of this game. He finished 6-15, 2-9, but he had 15 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and 3 blocks. Like you said, that help over defense he's able to play because Drew's guarding the big or Tatum's guarding the big is huge. So KP was great, and like I said, Tatum was great too. Just Tatum's playing like number 1 player on the planet right now.
Did you see the thing? Drew Hanlon has been on every podcast, including the Celtics podcast as of late. So I forget who was. I think he was talking to Caleb Burton, and he said that Jayson doesn't have a hitch, that he's double jointed, and he showed video of when Jaylen shoots his elbow for the YouTube crowd does indeed like stick out. Ew.
Yeah, that sucks.
I want to ask Jayson about that. I don't think he'd give me an answer, but I never heard that before, and I'm kind of surprised.
It's very odd.
How long has Jayson been in the league? 6 years, 7 years for anyone to say something about that?
Yeah, it's interesting.
I'll see if I can dig up the clip and find it for you later.
Yeah.
Incidentally, Drew's a very nice man, and I'm very thankful that he came on the podcast and whatnot. But
Indeed.
Did he go? Do you guys talk to him?
No, we haven't yet. Maybe at some point, but not yet. Jaylen Brown. Talk about a rough start turned into a highlight finish. 24, 8 and 2 for Jaylen, 10 of 21, 2 of 7. I asked Joe about some of these moments, and he talked about how important that moment was for Jaylen because this rough start sort of propelled. Like, great defense by the Celtics. Jaylen gets a layup, puts the Celtics back up by I think 12, maybe at that point. Timeout, Tibbs. One of the 2 he had left at that point. It was like 8 minutes, 30 seconds left, and then Jaylen goes on a 7-2 run by himself after the timeout, just to like bury the Knicks once and for all. So credit to him for sticking with it after a rough night. He's playing great defense. He took on the Brunson matchup after Pritchard got a little bit picked on for stretches, but Jaylen looked really, really good to close this game, and they needed it because they were in a tough spot.
Also, and I'll point out, Jaylen, to his detriment, will not concede that he's a little banged up. And tonight, I wasn't there, but I watched live in the post game. He said, "I didn't feel very good. I felt kind of crappy." He did take like a pretty big tumble on a dust up with Jalen Brunson. I don't know if that was part of it. I don't know if he had a really big weekend and he was feeling crappy for different reasons, but for him to concede that he doesn't feel well, you have to imagine he is not feeling good at all.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, whether it's sick or back or some illness or some ailment that's dragging him down. I respect that he and Tatum are the players who play through it, though. I love that. I'd rather that than the opposite end of the spectrum. So I think the Celtics are very blessed in that regard.
I don't feel that way.
Really?
Yeah, I'd like for Jaylen and Jayson to take an extended vacation. I mean, look at Drew, right? Drew's on vacation for a little bit.
Well, let me rephrase. I think it would be nice for them to take some nights off, but I'd rather this than Kawhi Embiid, which is just like
of course,
unable to. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some stars out there who are playing like 50 game seasons every time, and I'd rather the 70 game seasons that we get with these guys.
Oh, for sure. Well, it's closer to like 80 game seasons for Jayson.
I know.
I wish it was closer to 70.
Agreed.
Yeah, with respect to his ethos that a kid in Charlotte really wants to see me play. They play in Charlotte twice. If he wants to sit.
No. Oh yeah, twice. You're right. No, you're right. Derrick White, man.
Best point guard in the league, I hear.
What a he talked about him as one of the best point guards in the league. Joe Mazzulla did indeed. Derrick finished the game with 19 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 7 of 10 from the field, 5 of 6 from 3, and 1 4-on-1 fast break stopped. This guy's awesome, and I tweeted it during the game. I'm going to reiterate it now because he shot 3 of 3 from 3 in the fourth quarter. I'm going to have to look up the numbers to see if it backs it up. Derrick White makes every single fourth quarter 3.
I know,
every single one.
He's playing with joy again. Is this microphone new for you?
No, I've had this. I bring this one to games because the one I have at home is like a standalone mic and it's kind of expensive, and I've broken 2 of them and I don't want to buy another one. So I have this. I bought this one on the way to a game once, or on the day of the game once, because I broke my other mic, and I've just started bringing this to games. So I can bring my expensive mic to games because this is like $60.
Yeah, I have a Yeti Nano, and I don't think it's doing all that much for me.
I probably spent too much money on my mic. I got one for Christmas one year because I asked for it, and then I like it, so I just buy it again if it breaks, and I've broken two because I'm
Your next big thing, I think you got to get a webcam. Not that we look bad right now, but people who use webcams look so much better.
I have a webcam on this is my laptop, so I don't have it here, but I have a webcam for my usual pods, and it's 1080p, I think, so, or maybe 720. But I have a pretty good. I think it's okay. So we'll see. Maybe we invest sometime soon.
Yeah, just like the little clip-on one. Look,
Yeah,
the Celtics beat the snot out of the Knicks. We don't have to overanalyze the game, but so
Yeah, I know. There's not too much.
I'm just curious about your setup.
I have a webcam at my PC, but I'm on my my laptop, so nothing crazy.
How was Torrey Craig?
At the event, he was good. He's a nice guy. He seemed cool to talk to. He was taken aback by how slippery the ice has been in Boston lately, so it was funny to hear him talk about that. But he's cool. I'm very excited for the end of this stretch, man. It feels like the Celtics have really come back around after that little slump midway through the season, and they're playing at the level where you are like, okay, yeah, this is this is gonna be a good year. Like they're gonna make another fucking.
They also, after this, I think they only have 5 more games. They have 25 games left, and I think they only have 5 games against opponents with a plus 500 record. They'd have to go 23-2 to match last season's 64-18 record, and like probably it's not going to happen, but maybe it could happen if you squint. Like they have
thought that was out of the question.
I mean, it is out of the question. I guess winning 60 games is not out of the question. They have the Thunder left. They have the Cavs left. They have a Lakers game left. But then, like, the next hardest games are like Detroit and Sacramento. Maybe it's real baby food down the stretch.
Interesting. I don't think they catch Cleveland though. I think Cleveland's a little bit out of the picture.
I don't think they catch Cleveland either. The only way it would be if someone in Cleveland gets hurt, and I'm not rooting for that. So
no.
But I also don't think the Knicks catch the Celtics. I mean, I think
no. 4 games up on them now. It's yeah.
Which means we get to watch the play-in tournament with bated breath.
Oh baby, I'm ready. It's annoying for flights, but it's it's fine. All right. Well, thank you, Cam, for filling in. Appreciate you very much. Everyone, make sure to follow Cam on Twitter at @CTibetTabai. Go listen to Celtics Lab, read Celtics Wire, all that good stuff. Make sure to leave a like here on How About Them Celtics. Subscribe to us. You can follow me on Twitter at JacksonMoneMBA. You can follow Sam, even though he's not here, on Twitter at SamFransNBA. That's it for us today.
Tic-tac-toe.